navigate to the Pablo Center. Alright, so we're going to do a quick update drive here for full self-driving version 10.12.2. The trip today will be from here in South Eau Claire all the way to downtown Eau Claire, ending at the Pablo Center. On the trip, I'm going to show you the full self-driving visualization preview on the screen for most of the trip rather than the navigation, because I want to highlight how sensitive this is throughout the route. As we near downtown, we will expect to see some pedestrians and parked cars, so that will be another good test for this version of full self-driving. So I do have the set speed at 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. That's to maintain flow of traffic. And I do notice that the car does tend to do pretty well at that speed in terms of performance navigation with minimal interventions or driver assistance. So I do see a road hazard up here on the right. This is a pothole cover. Looks like the car maintained good separation from that. That was good. Just the slightest amount of phantom braking going through that intersection. We didn't have a stop or yield, but there were vehicles turning and waiting to turn into that intersection. So I think the car did a great job being just a little bit cautious. All right, coming up here on a red light, we're going to wait for traffic to turn and for the light to change green. Car is creeping ahead to its place in the intersection after that vehicle turned to the right. And green light, we're proceeding through the intersection. So I just wanted to talk about electric vehicle performance as we're going through this drive. One of the things that I really enjoy about driving an electric vehicle, and I noticed this first with my plug-in electric hybrid, the Chevrolet Volt, that we also own, is that electric motors develop instant torque and there aren't gears to go through for transmission. So the acceleration is instant and it's smooth as you leave an intersection or come from a full stop to cruise. So we're going to be making a right turn here. Car gets into the right lane. It had the turn signal for the lane change, and now we're waiting. We've got the red light. Again, you're seeing excellent visualization of all the traffic in this area. And I like how it gives kind of a drone's eye view of the traffic as we come into the intersection. So we've got a red light. We did stop there. There's a car turning left into our intersection, but we got in there appropriately for our turn. So everything was excellent. No interventions with that. At this point, we're in the right lane to turn onto Hastings Way northbound. Car did an excellent job getting into the turn lane, navigating through this at a good speed. I didn't feel like it was too aggressive. Some of the past versions of full self-driving beta, the car would rush up to that exit and then decelerate very quickly. We did overshoot a little bit on that turn. It signals a lane change, no traffic, so it's clear to go, and we're making the lane change. We're eventually going to want to be in the next left lane to continue on our route, and so the vehicle does signal that, and it's making the turn with plenty of time. So back to vehicle performance. One of the things you're seeing, other than full self-driving, the technology that we're demonstrating today, is that the car uses the deceleration to recuperate some electricity back into the battery. That's called regenerative braking. And you can tell that right here on the screen. It may be difficult to see, but there's a little green bar that goes this way when we're recovering energy or charge back into the battery. So the combination of instant acceleration, good speed, and regenerative braking are all what make driving an electric vehicle unique from gas vehicles. All right, we do want to be in the leftmost lane for this turn, and the vehicle has struggled a little bit with which lane to be in going through this intersection. It's choosing the right left turn lane, so the left turn lane that's on the right hand side, and that's okay, except we're going to need to be in the left lane to continue on our route. This lane actually turns into a right turn exit only lane eventually, so we do have some time to make the lane change. We'll see if the vehicle recognizes that and makes the adjustment. All right, so the lights change green. We are proceeding through the route. We're going to see how we do through the corner. Sometimes the vehicle gets a little confused on what lane it should be following. And it actually did a pretty good job there, although it got pretty close to the vehicle to the left of us. And that wasn't the car's fault. That was actually the vehicle next to us had crept over into our lane. So as a human driver, I would have made that turn just a little wider to compensate for the drift of the car to our left. However, I feel like our car did maintain good separation. You can see from the lines here on the screen that the vehicle is detecting obstacles using a radar sensor in this particular vehicle. Newer vehicles use camera sensors to provide separation. So at the next stoplight here, we are going to want to be in the left lane. And I don't see that happening, so I'm going to intervene at that point. Disabled full self-driving and signaled my change into the center lane. We're going to re-enable full self-driving at this point to continue on our route. So one intervention so far in this trip. We are on the home stretch to downtown right now. Hopefully this goes really smoothly. I am hopeful. So jumping back to our topic of electric vehicle performance, the second thing that I wanted to bring up, or third thing I guess it is that electric vehicles use electricity. So I'm out on a joyride today, just traveling from one place to another. Really no purpose other than making the video, and I don't feel a bit of guilt because the electricity that I use comes from the sun. I charge with solar at my house, and so I spent $0 in gas for this trip, and I typically produce about 80% of the fuel that I use in this vehicle through the solar panels. Our car is making a right turn signal here. It's entering the right lane. Excellent transition into the right lane after the turn. And we're going to want to be in the left turn lane here to proceed on our route. So here we go. There's a signal change and the car is making the change. Everything looks good so far. So we're still only at one intervention on this trip and we're almost at our destination. So that's pretty good. On the return trip, we're going to test something that I've noticed has been a problem with full self-driving in this vehicle, previous versions, and that is the lane navigation. Oh, a little bit of sudden braking there. I think the spacing is just a little bit further than what I normally would take at this point. Car signals a change. It's looking for a route through this and picked an excellent line. So good, no interventions again. Back to the end of the trip, we're going to test a route that will require a lane change to proceed onward. We're making the right-hand turn, a little bit of hesitation. I did not have to press the accelerator to encourage it. I think the car was slowing down because of the other vehicles there. So this is excellent. The car came to a full stop for the pedestrians. That was good. They were just entering the pedestrian lane on the left-hand side, and it completely stopped to yield for them. So that was 100% good and safe. I'm going to slow down just a little bit because of the parked cars here on the side. I don't like to have anybody pull out or open their door and surprise me. We do have some other pedestrians up here, so we're going to see how the car behaves for that. That's good. We've got a slowdown. We've got some other pedestrians coming, so I'm ready to brake just in case, and the car did brake all by itself. Excellent. Nice job. We do not have a stop here at the intersection, so we're just waiting for pedestrian traffic. I think it sees this pedestrian across the street as potentially crossing, so it hesitated there just to make sure, and it's making sure. Going to hit the accelerator just to continue past that point. So we'll call that maybe a second intervention, maybe a half intervention. I think the car would have eventually went through there if I had let it do that. And it disabled full self-driving, and that is the end of our route. So excellent job. We'll call it 1.5 interventions for that, which is the best that it's done so far on this particular route. All right, so here we are on the return trip. We've got the Eau Claire supercharger plugged in here for destination. So we're traveling from downtown Eau Claire back to South Eau Claire, where the supercharger is located, just off Interstate 94, very convenient location. And we're having the car drive us all the way back, full self-driving. Car stops. I do not see any traffic to the right or left at this intersection. Car makes a turn into the left turn lane. It should transition into the right lane. Here we go. Very good. To continue on our route. So that was very well done. In terms of interaction with the steering wheel, I find that the car doesn't require input regularly except for when there's heavy traffic around. So we see a lot of cars coming towards us. We also see a pedestrian crossing up here, and so the car will require more intervention, more touching of the steering wheel. So how the car knows that you're paying attention during the drive is a little bit of weight on the wheel causing resistance as it is turning or navigating. So if I hold right here and just kind of pull down with maybe a half a pound of pressure as it's making the turn or changes, it knows that I'm present on the steering wheel. I can let go of the wheel for a period of time, but eventually I will get a message on the screen requesting that I put my hands on the steering wheel. And if I ignore that too long, autopilot will flash a blue signal across the top of the screen. So here we go, apply slight turning force. There's the blue flash. If we continued on this, it would beep at us, and then eventually it would turn on the hazard signals and stop right in the middle of the road. So it would not allow me to continue without providing some kind of driver input. We are coming up here on a small construction zone. So we're going to see how the car does. It's navigating into the right turn lane, into the right lane. And that's actually appropriate to continue on the route. Although I would have liked to see it make a turn signal indication for other traffic. The Tesla Model Y, or any Tesla with full self-driving, is not very tailgater friendly. So if we do have cars that follow very closely, they do have to pay attention, because this car does stop abruptly if it sees other traffic or hazards. Sometimes it has phantom braking, although that has been improving and getting less and less. But typically if there's a vehicle making a right-hand turn, it slows down, the car will stop maybe a lot sooner than I would stop, and so other cars around may not be expecting it to stop that quickly. When that happens, the risk can be for rear-end collisions. So I am always attentive to not only the traffic in front of me and what's behind me, or what's beside me, but what is also behind me, because if I see a car coming up too fast, I will take over at that point and drive to prevent a collision. All right, we're coming up on a right-hand turn, so we're going to wait for the car to make an indication to go in the right turn lane. There we go. It does cross solid white lines. I've noticed that, and that has been a complaint that I have. In fact, I'm going to report that. Just because I feel like that can be a safety issue with other traffic not expecting me to cross at that point. But again, no interventions other than the ones that we've had traveling down to the downtown area. So far, the return trip has been intervention-free. The car is in the appropriate lane for navigation. As the speed zones change, the car automatically detects that, and it updates the speed there, and then also updates the set speed. And I've set it again for 5 miles over the speed limit, so it'll automatically adjust as the speed zones change for that. In fact, you'll see that here as it picked up the 65 mile an hour speed zone and increased us to 70. So this is the moment of truth. This is the intersection and the lane change that I've struggled with, that has plagued me for all the months that I've been driving with full self-driving. So we're going to see how it does here. I did have one successful run yesterday where it did make the lane change appropriately. So what we want to do after we turn right here is we want to move over to the left into the center lane to continue navigating on our route. What the car has wanted to do is make this right-hand turn and then stay in the right lane, which is a turn lane, and then in the intersection make the lane change over to the center lane. And I feel like that's inappropriate. So we are blocked here for visual on the side, so I am just nudging the accelerator to get the car to creep forward. And I see that we're clear for traffic right here, so I'm again pushing the accelerator to let the car know it's okay. Right here's where we want the lane change. Let's see how it does. Excellent, that was a great job. Perfect lane change in time. Did not go through the intersection and then attempt the lane change, which has been the big safety concern that I've had up to this point. So I think that's a big win for Tesla Full Self-Driving Beta version 10.12.2. Great job, Tesla. Hey, somebody brought up a really good comment after my last video about roundabouts, and it was about the artificial intelligence or AI feature of the car, saying that if I went through the roundabout more often, would it perform better the second, third, fifth time through? So today I just wanted to try to re-challenge some of the roundabouts that my car has already been through to see if it performs better, particularly the entry of the car into the roundabout where there's a yield sign, no traffic in the roundabout, and the car makes a full stop before proceeding into the intersection. So let's get on with the ride and see how it does. I'm going to show traffic behind us here. Alright, had to hit the accelerator to get us into the roundabout. Ooh, it stopped right there. Still stopping. Alright, so there are two interventions there, pushing the accelerator twice to get it to continue through the roundabout. We'll try the same roundabout, and this is going to be a 360-degree turn, so, correction. We're going to try the same roundabout, and this is going to be a 180-degree turn, so we're actually going through the roundabout to exit back in the direction that we entered it. Alright, so no traffic coming from the side, and I am at a full stop. I'm going to give it accelerator to go. Car navigates into the left lane. A little awkward with other traffic, and it does come to stop. It's a little hesitant right there. And again, encouraging it with accelerator. Alright, so that was a little awkward yet. We didn't have a very smooth entry or transition into that roundabout. Car's making a lane change to get into the roundabout. We're going to do another 180-degree turn through the roundabout, exiting back the direction in which we came. A little bit of hesitancy, as you can see on the screen here, where the car wants to be. I don't see any traffic coming in behind us, so that's okay. I'm just going to let it go through. Again, making that lane change. And some confusion right there. And then exiting the roundabout. Alright, car's making a lane change to get into the appropriate lane. I'm going to monitor the back camera again just to see how traffic flows into the roundabout with us. It doesn't look like we have anybody behind us, so I'm just going to show you a full screen view here on what the car sees going into the roundabout. Right, we have two cars coming up from the left. The car stops appropriately. Waits for the second vehicle. It's creeping forward. Just gonna let it go here and see what happens. It does seem very, very hesitant right there. All right, here we are in roundabout number 2, and we're going through the intersection. Car makes a change. This is going to be a straight through, so we'll see if the car yields. It does. There is no traffic coming in from the left, and we are at a complete stop, but the car does proceed, so it did just a fine job checking for traffic right there. And exiting the roundabout. So everything was good there. A little slow, a little hesitant. Here we are going through the roundabout again. We're going to make a left turn, left exit. Very smooth entry that time. Everything looked really good. I think the car did a great job stopping for that vehicle that was right in front of us. Alright, green light go. We're going to get in there. Car's going to need to make a lane change into the left lane to get through the roundabout. Alright, signals lane change. Little confusion, but it makes a lane change just a little late. Okay, we're going to stop right here. Good. We've got traffic coming in from the left-hand side, so that's good. That's good. Still some traffic. All right, the car should go now. Should go. We got beeped at. There we go. Alright, so I think the car did pretty well. It was a little hesitant, which caused some people around us to be just slightly impatient. But that's okay. RV going slow. Slow as a Tesla through the roundabout. Okay, here we are. No traffic behind us. We've got two cars coming in from the left and a third car that will be entering here. And that car exits before it comes to us, so our car proceeds. That's excellent. Very well done on that time. And again, I think we have people thinking we're going to exit there. That guy yielded for us, so that was very good. That's going to wrap it up for that drive. My thoughts are that the car did perform about the same as it did the previous time through the roundabout intersections. There's still some hesitancy getting in, and navigation through the intersection was a little confused at times, confident on other times. So all in all, I think the car still performs pretty well, very safely, of course, through roundabouts. Checking for traffic before it gets into the roundabout and yielding for traffic once in the roundabout. Although I do feel like the confusion was still there with regards to which lane it should be in as it proceeds through the roundabout. That's all I have for this week. I want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.